Welcome to New to the Street. I'm Anna Berry, and this is your weekly Hack the Secure segment with Alain Ghiai. And Alain is with Globex Data, the leader in Swiss-hosted private and secure communications and data management. Welcome, Alain.
Thank you, Anna. Happy to be here.
So everyone seems to be buying cryptocurrency these days, but that is actually opening us up to more threats, like this recent malware that targeted Windows 10. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so there was an article a couple of days ago on threatpost.com, which is one of those websites that talks about all the hacks that are happening and all that. And Windows 10 essentially is vulnerable through a malware that's kind of administered through a Chrome browser. I mean, it could be any browser. Essentially, hackers can get into your account. They call it a UAC, a user account control, and it bypassed the Microsoft cybersecurity protection, which is a big thing because Microsoft, I was reading, they're hiring, I think, something like 100,000 new cybersecurity specialists. But no matter how much you put, how much resource you put, when your source code has been stolen, like the SolarWinds hack, which another one happened not long ago, it's very hard to counter that. So Windows 10, which is the latest operating system on most PCs, I don't have a PC, but a lot of people use PCs, is essentially compromised. So what does that mean for you? It means that anything you do, somebody can go in. If you send an email, for example, using your Outlook and using Windows 10 browser, etc., it's just all that info is being siphoned. And what the article says is that all your credentials, which is username and passwords, are being stolen, and a lot of cryptocurrencies are being stolen as well. I have read in the last 2 months, an average every 10 days, a platform is being hacked. Coinbase, for example, had, I don't know how many millions of people were hacked on that. And there's others as well. I don't know them all, but you read about that. So people think that they trade cryptocurrency, that is super safe, etc. But at the end of the day, you just go online. You also sometimes send an email, and that's the weak link as well. And the crypto platforms are not all protected as you may think.
Right. And this is not just a fad or a trend. This isn't going anywhere when it comes to buying cryptocurrency and plugging in our valuable information. So talk to us a little bit about Sekur and your secure messaging and your secure email and how we can keep our data safe, secure, and private.
Sure. So again, this is a Windows 10 issue, nothing wrong with cryptocurrencies, but a lot of people now trade cryptocurrencies, as you mentioned. They buy goods with it, right? So how do we do that? We still communicate in the old-fashioned way, which is your Gmail, your Yahoo, your Office 365. So what we do is we have a secure communication suite. It's $10 a month. You can go to sekur.com and you can buy the email and messaging application, or soon enough, we're launching email only. The advantage of using Sekur, and I recommend that people use the webmail, because we have a lot of people that say, does it synchronize with Outlook? Well, it does, but it defeats the purpose to buy a highly encrypted Swiss private email service and wanting to use your credentials on Microsoft, right? So this is a parallel email. It's not a replacement to your Outlook or your Gmail. It's a parallel email. We don't use any big tech platform. I would recommend use webmail only, which is you go to mail.sekur.com, you put your username and password. In this case, your username is your email and your password. And those emails are only stored in Switzerland. They don't fly all over the internet. We don't have any open source coding. We have never been hacked since we started the company in Switzerland in the early 2000s. So we have a great track record. And the best part is you can email someone that doesn't have Sekur. They get an email with a link, which you can password protect if you want. There's a few features there, and the person clicks and they can reply using Secure Reply. All of that communication stays only in Switzerland, as opposed to sending back and forth encryption keys, which will be hacked over the net. So that's a big difference. And the recipient doesn't need to have Secure. So if you're doing any kind of business transaction, financial transaction, maybe you're going to email your mortgage broker. I don't know, anything. Doesn't have to be cryptocurrency. We can't help Microsoft and Windows 10, but what we can do is we can help people saying, listen, if you use Sekur and you're on a webmail, you're pretty much safe. I never say 100% because it's going to jinx it. But that's what I do. That's what our entire company does. People love it. We're also launching an email application on secure mail in late January, mid-February. So you'll be able to sign up, simply download and use your device with the same webmail feature like Secure Send. So it's critical to use a protected communication platform. I can't stress that enough.
Alain, I have to ask, how is it possible that your technology has not been hacked yet?
Well, I credit two big things. First of all, we are not hosted on any of the big platforms, the big tech, Amazon Web Service, Microsoft, Google, which are really the biggest three platforms, essentially, where 99.9% of all software is hosted. And we did that by choice over 10 years ago. It's expensive to do it, but we're happy we did it. So the developers that develop on these platforms, there's millions of them, don't know how to get into ours. That's one thing. We also don't use open source coding, which 99.85% of all software is on. And open source coding it was great 10 years ago when you had collaborative effort with many developers working on the same software. But when you use open source, let's say you create a new application for privacy or anything, you have to deploy the code, and because a GDL license forces you to essentially put that code in the public, a hacker can come and reverse engineer it and maybe copy it. You also have hackers that disguise as good developers that work on these open source, and then they kind of know how to get in later. They get to know all the weaknesses. So we don't have any open source. We have our own team for more than a decade, all shareholders of the company. And we're stored in Switzerland with multiple redundancies of security. And of course, we don't data mine here. So, if you're not going to rent your data to someone for somebody else to use it, there's less hacking to start. If you don't use open source, well, people won't be able to get in. And then if you use your own platform, you reduce hackers by more than 99%, right? It's because it's a platform they don't know. There's not many people on it. So, I mean, so far we've had a great record. We have multiple redundancy. Our virtual vault technology makes it that in the unlikely event we get hacked, it's not going to infect the whole database. It's per user. So each user is independently protected like a moat, like several moats around each user. And that's why we spend a ton of money on our processing power. And that's why we have to charge you, $5 to $10 a month, because how else are we going to make money? We don't sell your data. So.
And all upfront
that was a long answer to a short question.
It's okay.
Hopefully.
Well, all upfront fees. And so it seems that if anyone's out there buying or trading cryptocurrency, this is a great technology to have to keep your data safe. But it's really for the everyday person, the everyday business person, so young and old, so that we can all keep our data private, secure, and safe.
Absolutely. Young and old, anyone. Again, this is not replacing your email. It's not attaching. It's a completely separate email or messaging. If you do crypto trading and all that, I would recommend you use Sekur, because you already have an awareness of privacy and security. You want to use the best in the market, which is, we believe we are the best in the market in that.
All right. Well, as always, learned so much from you with our weekly hack segment. Thank you so much, Alain, for joining us again on New to the Street.
Thank you, Anna, and thank you everyone for watching us.